They are at their current high temperature of 33. That's just
make an impact as well.
Leroy, Vega, kind of a key?
Vega and Erikson are both keys, and they're both primetime players. Every time they get in big tournaments, they always come out make an impact as well.
Leroy, Vega, kind of a key?
Vega and Erikson are both keys, and they're both primetime players. Every time they get in big tournaments, they always come out doing well, so we're hoping they do the same here in the college level.
We're all counting on you. Don't want to put any pressure on you, though. There were some conference championships, small college front this past week. Not only, this is not just the Gophers in action, but at Cy Melby Hall on the Augsburg campus, the MIAC championships took place, and Marty, Augsburg had to have been a heavy favorite, but St. Olaf has been wrestling well, too. Let's go to the scoreboard and take a look at the results and get some comments from you. Augsburg ran away with it.
Yeah, Augsburg dominated the tournament, did not lose one match, won all 10 weight classes. St. Olaf taking second is a big deal, too, because St. John's has been a perennial second-place finisher in that MIAC tournament.
Augsburg going to win the Nationals again, you think?
Well, you don't want to, I'm sure they don't want to just jump out and say we're going to win it, but on paper...
Yeah, but you can.
Yeah, they've got to be predicted to win it. They've got 10 guys going, Wartburg's got 10. The number 3 ranked team's got 6 going, so it looks like a 2-team race, and they should be the heavy favorites going for their 3rd title.
Much closer with the NCC conference, and let's take a look at the scoreboard there. Nebraska, Omaha, but just barely over North Dakota State.
Yeah,
Your thoughts?
Came down to the finals. The Omaha heavyweight got a win and took the title from North Dakota State. The big thing here is that they only got 6 qualifiers on North Dakota State, Minnesota, Mankato. So they only got 6 qualifiers, but Nebraska, Omaha got 9. So that's going to help them when it comes to that national tournament.
Yeah, because that's what it's about. Not just winning it, but positioning yourself for the national.
Yeah, you got to have a number of participants there because you got to have everyone score points for you. The more people you have, of course, the more points you can get.
Eastern Regionals NCAA took place as well, and the team that we've talked about during the course of the year did pretty well. Who else on here, as we go to the scoreboard, was supposed to do well that did well?
Well, I think Pitt-Johnstown's the only team really worth mentioning here. They're the number 1 ranked in the country. They qualified all 10 wrestlers, and that's going to put them in a heavy favorites going into Division II to win the tournament.
What kind of week do the Gophers have this week? Practice, leave Thursday?
Practice, we leave Thursday. Right now, we're just getting the guys fresh and ready. Everyone's healthy. They're looking good, so we'll see what the results are.
Good luck this week.
Thanks.
We'll talk about it next week, but don't go away. We mentioned high school at the top. When we return, we will dissect the state high school wrestling tournament with Mr. Willy Short. But before we go, here are a couple of college matches sponsored by Perfect Forms, not the matches, but this segment that you better check out while the checking is good. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Minnesota Wrestling Weekly. As always, Simley High School coach and our high school wrestling expert, Willy Short, joins us. Willy, quite a weekend. The state tournament, 3 team champions, crowd, several individuals. We'll get into that. But your thoughts on another successful state tournament?
Well, it was interesting. In the Target Center, new venue. It was the first time for everybody there. It was nice to see that they did a nice job. The floor was ready. Little bit of concern about where the warm-up areas were going to be, but I think they worked things out, and next year they'll put it on even a better tournament. And the wrestling, of course, was exceptional. It's one of the best state tournaments in the whole country. Yeah, without question. The fans showed up to support them. Now, not only was there a lot of wrestling that went on in the Target Center over the weekend, but in the course of staging the tournament, there was also a lot, as Willy mentioned, going on behind the scenes that only a person with a camera on their shoulder has access to. Let's take a look. There was something different this year, a different building. And there are some changes to the surrounding downtown area. You notice they've moved the Schubert Theater. Your thoughts on that in terms of, is that a good investment for this city?
I guess so.
You think that works?
Yeah.
Although it's kind of difficult parking close to the Target Center now, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess you got to walk a ways to come.
Okay, so what you actually want is 1 adult.
2 students. This is different than the St. Paul Civic Center. You can feel the tightness of the quarters.
You're really feeling intimate when you're down here in the Target Center floor. The Civic Center obviously is not available to us anymore, but it was possible there to have the seats move back, and so it gave us a lot more room. With the permanent seating like this, it makes it, as you said, a whole lot more intimate.
This is what it's all about, to be wrestling with the best and to be one of the best.
It's both fun and nerve-wracking. It's exciting to see the state's best wrestle, and it's, you know, I'm trying to...
It's fun when you are one of the state's best.
Well, I guess you could say that too. I don't know how to...
On deck mat 3, 160, Henning, Shakopee, Guggenberger, Bakori.
Behind the scenes, you get a better feel. The hallways are filled with tension. anxious anticipation. Wrestlers wait for their moment on the mat.
Trying to relax and think about what I'm going to do and concentrate on who I'm going to wrestle.
Is it difficult to relax?
Yeah, it is. It's really difficult.
You've been thinking about this for all week, all year?
All year, mostly.
Each year you find new trends. In 1999, it's the bleach. What's with all these wrestlers dyeing their hair blonde?
I don't know, just a trend, I guess.
What is? It's not Dennis Rodman their role model, I hope.
No, I don't know. It just looks cool.
Yes, this is the state wrestling tournament where fans come to support the boys. Fans, that is, of all ages. Is she going to become a wrestling fan after this?
I think she already is. She already is a wrestling fan.
She's pretty contentious with those animal crackers.
Yeah. No, she'll probably be a basketball player.
And Willie, you know this, you never grow tired of watching fans come out, particularly maybe when their team was in there for the first time in the way they support the programs.
Well, that's what's great about the three-class system. We're getting more and more teams in there, more and more fans coming down to the state high school tournament. They had a little trouble one day with getting people in. They didn't have enough workers out there. The attendance was amazing. They couldn't get the people in fast enough, so it was a great tournament, a great showing for just the state of Minnesota to show how much they love wrestling in this state and how far it's come. It's a great program.
Yes, indeed, and a couple of people that make that possible. Well, this year it also marks the final season for 3 coaches, actually, who have given their heart and soul in a combined 97 years of coaching wrestling. Osceola's Ken Drogan-Miller, Bellevue Danube, Renville Sacred Heart's Ray Miller, and Adrian's Jim Carr, all retired this year. We caught up with 2 of them at the state tournament and asked them to reminisce.
Well, I've been coaching at Adrian since 1968-69 season. That's about 31 years. Practices are awful hard, but it's all worth it when you get in that competition. Your kids do well. It's a great thrill. It doesn't matter if the kid's a undefeated wrestler going after a state championship or it's his first win ever on varsity. It's still quite a thrill to see the kids be successful, see them grow, see them develop. They've learned a lot of self-confidence. They've learned how to be more disciplined about themselves. They've learned how to sacrifice, control their emotions. They learned how to set goals. All of these things fit in wrestling so well, and I think most of my wrestlers have been able to develop as a good human being as a result of wrestling. The rules have changed. Wrestling itself is the same, probably always will be. Are they better? No, I don't think they're that better. I just think that you've got kids come and go, programs come up, go down. It cycles, but it's as good as it's ever been. I restore old cars, and I'll have more time to be able to do that in the wintertime, and then, of course, watch the matches on the weekends, during the week, whatever. It'll be fun being a spectator, being very, no stress, you know, sitting in the stands and cheering the guys on.
No, I started in South Dakota in 1963. I coached there 5 years, and then I came to Sacred Heart in 1968, and now it's BDRSH. It's evolved several times, but I've been there for 31 years. The thing that's nearest to my mind is being with the kids, missing the kids, and I still plan on volunteering and helping do what I can do, but as far as the paperwork and responsibility, it's time to move aside and let somebody else take over. So that and the rapport with the other coaches, I'm going to miss the coaches. It's going to be tough. The family type atmosphere that wrestling provides, it's just one big family. It's just a thing that I think they feel that they belong to something, and they feel comfortable with that. And just teaches them what happens when you contribute to a school, to your team, and to everything. I think it's just a lifelong learning experience.
Everything we need to know in about 5 minutes. Now you know what you're going to look like in 30 years.
Well, I tell you, I got a lot of respect for these gentlemen after doing
Done
this.
quite a job, haven't they?
4 years, and when you get to 30 and you've been around that long, you've been doing something right, and you've been developing kids and doing great things for families. These guys deserve a lot of respect.
Well, now it's time for that part in the show where we get into the wrestling action, and we are going to start with the Class A Team Championships. Willie, any surprises that it was Frazee and New Richland, Heartland, Ellendale, Geneva in the finals?
I don't think it was much of a surprise for anybody, and I don't think the result was a surprise for too many people. John Schermerhorn here putting away his opponent here at the 112-pound class, getting Frazee started on a roll. You could see the excitement. They were ready to go. They were fired up. They had no letdowns all through the tournament.
How good's Matt Nagel?
Well, I have a feeling that he's going to be the first 5-time state champ in the state of Minnesota. He's won 3 already. He's just that good. I don't see anybody in Class A that's coming along that could wrestle with him at this point, no.
Here we see Marlon Beckman, 140 pounds, beats eventual state individual champ, Matt Ale.
This is a big win for Marlon. He comes in, he gets beat in the first round of the state tournament, comes back and beats the state champ in the teams. So this is a great win for him. You know, it's interesting to see how that works out. And there you see the Frazee heavyweight getting a pin and closing it out for the Frazee team. A great season for the Frazee team. They deserve all the respect in the world. They're a very good team. State champs, 37-21 over New Richland Heartland. They deserve all the recognition that they've gotten throughout the year, and a fabulous job by Clay Nagel and the coaching staff.
A very good job. In the third place, Lake Crystal Welcome Memorial Minneota 34-19. Moving along to the consolation, Wabasha Kellogg wins it. Any surprises there?
No, Wabasha Kellogg had a nice group of seniors this year. They got the state tournament run going. Let's see if some of these teams can come back and rebuild and continue to put themselves in the state tournament. It's nice to see that Class A start to build and the fans are coming in. Frazee had a huge busload come down, filling the stands. That's a lot of excitement, a lot of fun.
Great team. When we return, we'll continue with the Class AA and AAA team finals. And now that the high school season is winding down, this week's tip of the week will let you know what to do with all that free time. So don't go away. Welcome back to the show. We keep telling you that wrestling is a family get-together. But on Friday afternoon in the state's team constellation bracket, wrestling gave family unity a new meaning. You see, Doug Savile Jr. is head coach for the Totino Grace Eagles, and his younger brother, Matt Savile, wrestles on the team. On Friday, the Eagles were matched against Robbinsdale Armstrong, where, you guessed it, Tom Savile wrestles for the Falcons. Of course, the whole family was there. Doug Sr., Mom Kathy, and sister Chris were rooting that it didn't break out into a family feud. They are there cheering for the victors and comforting the defeated. By the way, Matt won by a pin for his team and took second in Class 3A at 103 pounds. Tom went as far as he could with a separated shoulder. Armstrong loses to 42-21 the final. You've been through those family things many times.
It's a great thing to see families get together. You got the Roth family, you got the Savile family, you got the Eustice family. People just love to be a part of something, and they can generate a great amount of respect with a family that they just work together and they continually improve and make a good program. That Totino Grace program's really come a long way this year. I think they did a great job, and they're going to have a great team next year.
Class AA. Let's go to the videotape of the team finals, but any surprises?
Jackson County Central, they were ranked #1 coming in. They started off, Dahlmeyer defeats Colin Leopold here 10-4. Dahlmeyer had a real nice season, came on strong toward the end of the season and finished it with a real nice season for St. Michael. Here's Johnny Barthel for the St. Michael Albertville team getting a win over Dusty Wilking, 3-1. It's a solid team, the St. Michael team. They were missing 3 varsity wrestlers that would have been on the state tournament team. Due to injury, they couldn't compete in the state high school tournament.
Would have changed the complexion of it.
Yes, and they still were in this match, 30-18 with Jackson County Central, but Bryce Van Cure closes out the match for the Jackson County Central team. Randy Baker, 15 years of coaching, wins his first state team title. Nate Baker, his son, won his second individual title. A great program down there in Jackson County Central, and Randy Baker's just done a fabulous job and a fabulous coach. He deserves all the respect he can get.
Third place, New Prague wins it over Paynesville, and in the consolation, Staples, Motley, and Mark Carlson over Fillmore Central, Lanesboro, Mabel, Kenton. Moving along to Class 3A, the big match. A lot of people talked about Apple Valley before. They end up winning it.
Well, it starts off here, Derek Johnson from Owatonna, who had a fabulous year, won the state high school tournament. He puts away Stask at the beginning of the match, 19-7. Then you know, here comes Apple Valley's run. Matt Shankey starts it off at 119
He's
pounds.
good.
He is a blue chip recruit. He's a Division I recruit right now. He's ready to go. He's a state champion. Lucas Christensen, who made the finals, kind of an unexpected finalist, but gets a pin here over Wade Pestigard, and he's got the team rolling after that.
Pretty good athlete in Jarek Horton.
Oh, Jarek Horton has a real nice career at Apple Valley. I know he's a little disappointed with his finals performance, getting second in the state tournament. but he gets to hold on to that first place medal from the team. 36-16, Apple Valley over Owatonna. Pretty much what you expected.
Hastings beat Cambridge, but just barely for third place, and in consolation, New Ulm over Patina Grace 31-18. When we return, we'll take you through all three classes of individual champions, and we've selected 4 deserving athletes for our Wrestlers of the Week. But as we go to break, here's this week's Tip of the Week. Minnesota Wrestling Weekly Tip of the Week is brought to you by Minnesota USA and USA Wrestling.
My name is Steve Frazier. I'm National Greco-Roman Wrestling Coach for the United States. Spring is usually a time when most wrestling rooms start to go vacant. Most wrestlers hang up their shoes until the next fall. But why? If you really want to enhance your wrestling skills, I encourage you to take advantage of the freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling tournaments that are offered in your area. I remember my first Greco-Roman wrestling tournament when I was 15 years old. I wrestled 6 intense, grueling matches. But because I was at the tournament with a couple of buddies, not cutting any weight, I was able to focus on my skills. And I learned more in that one tournament than I couldn't imagine. I went from a mediocre 10th grade wrestler to beating 2 state high school place winners. It did tremendous for my confidence. Other benefits from wrestling in the spring and summer: 1, because there's usually no team pressure, you can focus on your individual skills and have more fun. Even though the skills in folk style are somewhat different than Greco-Roman freestyle, wrestling is wrestling. And the skills that you learn by wrestling in Greco-Roman and freestyle will help your folk style wrestling also. Competition, one-on-one competition, practicing that will make you a better wrestler. Practicing dealing with referees will help you to become a better wrestler. Practicing pre-match jitters, controlling those pre-match jitters will help you become a better wrestler. These are all things that you can practice in the spring and summer in Greco-Roman and freestyle tournaments. And the biggest thing, wrestling all spring and summer will keep you in that wrestling shape so that when fall rolls around, you're ready to go. So I encourage all of you, if you want to be the best wrestler that you can be, wrestle freestyle and Greco, and you'll do just that. This is your tip of the week.
Video update, home of 2 for 99-cent Tuesdays.
White on the set.
Individual titles crowned as well, of course. Willie, let's start with Class A. We mentioned Matt Nagel of Frazee. He won it as an individual and helped his team win it as well.
He deserves to be mentioned again. 3rd title as a sophomore. He's a blue chip recruit. He's eventually going to go on to win national titles in college. He's a great wrestler, and I don't see him getting beat. He will win 5 state titles.
No doubt about it, the way it looks right now. Class A individual champions, Eric Sanders. There you see the list.
John Sherman had a nice year. Matt Jones at 119, another sophomore who had a really nice year. Jacob Volkman won his 3rd state title there, and Mike Schuck from Janesville Waldorf Pennington finished it off at heavyweight.
Let's move on to Class AA individual. Luke Eustice, Tech Falls Justin Roberts of Scott West.
Luke Eustice is one of the best seniors coming out of the state of Minnesota. He's on to Iowa. He's on to a Division I career. Minnesota keeps turning out blue chip recruits. He's got it all.
Blue Earth did pretty well with individuals.
Yeah. Look for Jeff Olstead, another sophomore. Ty Eustace, another sophomore. Nate Baker, of course, is going to go on to have a great career in Division I. Bryce Francure, another state champion for Jackson County Central. Brandon Baker, you got to be very happy with that.
Class 3A individuals. At 112, Desmond Reduns.
Desmond wins the 1st state title for Henry Sibley. He had to do it, beating a state champion, Pete Zango, in the finals. A great job by Desmond Reduns, wrestling under the pressure. He gets it done. Congratulations to him and Henry Sibley.
Yes, and you look at the list of winners there. Marcus Levesseur, we talked about him during the year.
Marcus Levesseur, another sophomore, that sophomore class, maybe one of the best in the country. Mclay with another title. Big upset at 189, Jordan Holm beating Jarek Horton. And, of course, Joe Mayberry winning it at heavyweight. A nice job by him and the Bemidji team this year.
And our Piper Jaffrey Wrestlers of the Week, honoring 3-time state champions. These guys have been that good. We've talked about some of them during the show. We've talked about many of them during the year. Luke Eustice, Mark Carlson, Jacob Volkman, and Matt Nagel, Willie.
Winning 1 state title is a great accomplishment. Winning 2 is really fabulous, but winning 3, that is something else, and these kids have done all the work, and they are solid wrestlers.
Willie, thanks so much for joining us all year. Appreciate it.
nice to be here. Keep
We'll
this
see
show on
Simley
TV.
back there maybe next year.
Hopefully.
All right, that's it for us. We'll be back next week as the Gophers prepare for the NCAA's. Look back at the Big Tens. Same time, same place. Have a great week, everybody.